Yesterday I uploaded a video about um, half double knitting in ribbing, and today I have a pretty big swatch, small one in the center. I started this swatch doing half double knitting in garter. I then switched for a few rows and did a standard seed stitch, knit one, purl one, and then went in and did a standard garter, and then came back and did some rows of and slight unevenness here, which actually works its way out as you go along. Did a second swatch in half double knit garter, and I'd like to show you how to do half double garter. It's a 3-row process, and I'm ready to start row 1. And row 1 starts a little bit awkwardly in that the previous row has ended with a slip stitch. So the first stitch we're working is going to be a purl stitch. It's a little awkward to work the purl stitch, not too bad, with that onto the slip stitch. And the next stitch is a knit stitch, and these 2 stitches are repeated across the row. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. Now, some of you might notice that I do not do a standard purl. This does not make any difference. You can do a standard purl, it will work the same for you. I have long ago learned how to compensate for my non-standard purl, and my knitting comes out fine. All it does is change the mount, and I'm so used to that if I make an effort, for the last couple of stitches to do a standard purl, I'll just automatically compensate for that standard purls. There we go. In the next row, without thinking about it, you might notice the change. I would be hard pressed to, because I just am used to it. Now, this is worked over an even number of stitches, so our last stitch is a knit stitch. We then turn the work. The next 2 rows are basically identical, and to help work them, I worked out a little mnemonic as I knit. If you prefer, you can use a row counter, and because the 2 rows are the same and it's a little hard to differentiate, you need something to remember. So the next one starts with a knit, followed by a slip. And as always with a standard slip stitch, we're going to slip as if to purl. Now there's our stitch to purl, and there's our stitch to knit, and there's our stitch, let's see where we go. Okay, there's our stitch that we're going to slip, knit, and what I do is I say slip the knit, knit the purl, slip the knit the purl, slip the knit, and here we are, it's changed, and there I compensate by going into the back of the stitch. But so it's knit the purl, slip the knit the purl, slip the knit the purl, slip the knit across the row. And this last stitch, I'm going to bring the yarn to the back. You'll see why, because otherwise I'd have to do it now, because we want to do row 2 the same row 3. That's row 2. Row 3 is the same as row 2, which is to say it's knit the first stitch and slip the second. The second in this case now, though, is a purl, which is what I say. I say knit 1, slip the purl, knit 1, slip the purl, knit 1, slip the purl, knit 1, slip the purl. And this kind of knit 1, slip 1 pattern is very common to double knitting. There are some double knittings that are done this way exclusively. So 1, slip the purl, knit 1, slip the purl, and we come back to the slip 1. And now those are our 3 rows completed. Now you can see here it looks like a pretty big ditch. If you bring it to the center and stretch it out once, the ditch pretty much goes away. Just a little bit. You can see the groups of 3 slightly. So there's a group of 3, there's a group of 3, there's a group of 3. So you do have this slight ditch that is slightly visible, but it does go away with time, and that was just 24 hours. It just evened out the tension. What it's hard to see is how much thicker and plusher this is than the standard garter stitch. It is significantly thicker and plusher. In addition, of course, the row gauge has changed significantly, and the stitch gauge has changed significantly. So what I like about this is, and you can see very clearly here where we've changed from standard garter to the double neck garter, is I sometimes don't like garter stitch sweaters or garments because they are boxy and they don't give you the option of having a cuff or a lower edge that binds in a bit as ribbing might. But you could use this as an edging to a garter stitch anything, and have something that binds in, even a garter stitch hat that you might want to have a little snugger around the face or the back of the neck. So there is how we do our 3-row pattern for doing double neck garter. The instructions for the 3 rows will be printed below in the notes to this video.